Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest episode of Tales from Outer Space, taken from the subreddit HFY. The links to all the stories will be down below, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. And if you do, please consider subscribing. Story number 1. Yes, sir. Written by Gorbashsan. The pseudopod slapped down on the sticky table and formed a speech-capable orifice as the blobby shape of the seat shook with recognition. Friend Bower, I haven't seen you since we hired the fresh crew after your ship upgrade. How is the trade route card business now that you have a decent gunboat? Less trouble from the pirates, I expect. The being this call was directed towards snapped his focus to the scene in front of him, seemingly only now realizing where he was. He called back across the drinking establishment's hall. Fish, yes, I have less minor-scale attempts at targeting the vessels under my escort. However, I'd consider increased pirate activity over dealing with the crew were it an option. The pseudopod contorted into a polite, inquisitive shape as he thought over that statement. What do you mean, my friend? Bowra's mandibles clacked in disgust. He turned and shouted, Bobbert, 2 second-tier inebriants. Having ordered his liquid therapy, he faced his companion and rattled his vestigial wing casings as if they would help him settle into his seat. It's not all of them, in fact it's just one of them that is the source of the issue. But the behavior has spread discipline issues to the rest. Even some of my original core crew have begun acting in a manner I consider disrespectful. Friend Bowra, let us not be delicate, for clearly you are in no mood for meaningless platitudes. You have always had certain level of disrespect aimed at you, or your style of command may be efficient and in line with regulatory practices, but frankly, when on the job you have always been a, what's the term the humans have for this, a hard-ass? That's it. The human is the problem, Flesh. He keeps following my orders. Flesh undulated slowly, indicating confusion and concern. Wait, shouldn't that be a good thing? Yes, normally. I apologize for the increased volume of my reply. I am somewhat emotionally unbalanced right now. The drink slid onto the table, and the hovering servo arm of the bar presented a cred chip receptacle. Bowra took a moment to swipe the chip before continuing. This is inherently illogical, I know, but it is true. Somehow the new human I hired manages to follow every rule and complete every task assigned to him. Not just that, they do so in a shockingly rapid manner. Naturally, I have 2 of my own humans on board. They are generally adept at whatever they train in, and being such dense, high-gravity world beings, they don't tire as quickly as most, and move at a rapid pace. Nothing you have said would indicate that you have reason to be this emotionally distressed, though. That's just it, Flesh. They are fast and efficient, and mine completes the tasks assigned. The problem is that the human seems to find a flaw in my orders every time. It's as though they are stupid to realize they have either interpreted it incorrectly, or they have no idea how the task should be performed. However, they always manage to complete the task in exactly the manner which I was worded, so I can't even punish them for what they have done. Bowra had sank his drinking tube into the first mug and drained it immediately. I'm still confused, my friend. If they are following your orders exactly, why would you punish them? You lack flexibility, and your adherence to the rules is commendable, even if it's not my style. But you have never been one for arbitrary discipline and unwarranted punishment. It would be warranted, believe me. Look, I'll give you an example. 6 cycles ago, the human had put the request to hold some kind of minor gambling game involving several of the other crew members. Apparently, an event apparently associated with a holiday on the Terran homeworld. It involved a great concave food dish of some kind they would view on a large screen he wished to temporarily install into the empty cargo hold and make wagers on certain situational occurrences and a greater wager on the outcome, as he explained. This was to be accompanied by the consumption of various food items of questionable nutritional value along with a mild inebriance. Naturally, this violates a large number of the ship's rules and regulatory body directives and laws regarding appropriate and legal behavior while underway on ships carrying armaments above Class 3 acting in civilian security capacity. Fesh contracted slightly, stiffening his body with the mild reactions. Friend viewer, what you have denied your human was what may be one of the strongest pack-bonding activities of his social subset. It is known as a Super Bowl party. Yes, that was the exact term they used. Well, at least I know it wasn't a unique incident. Well, following that denial of his request, I issued orders for him to clean the cargo bay in question, as he had already begun preparations for even prior to obtaining permission. In my ignorance, I made the mistake of issuing an order this way. I want everything removed from this cargo hold, and every surface scrubbed and polished till it is clean as the day that it was assembled. Involuntary convulsions rippled through Fesh. Please continue, though I believe I may have an idea of what happened. In his exhausted state, Bowra failed to notice the companion's ripples and continued. Well, I expected to not hear back on the task until the following cycle, giving the dimensions of the bay. However, not a quarter cycle later, I see the task completed indicator on the task appear on the job board. I was incredulous and immediately went to inspect the work. Upon entering the cargo bay, what I found was that every single surface had been stripped of paint and polished to a machine, and every single piece of equipment that was not on the original ship's specifications had been removed and placed in the refuse cart. I was enraged, and yet I'd given the order, and I was cleansed of absolutely everything that was not present at the time the ship had been released and from the construction yards. And it had only gotten worse from that point. Every task I assigned has been completed with admirable speed and accuracy. I cannot find a single fault with the execution given the wording, and yet the results are always far from what I desire. He slumped against the table, sipping on his second cup of inebriant. The sense of defeat hung on him like a miasma around him. Well, forgive the pun, but I think you have been somewhat inflexible in your command. And this has resulted in what my own humans have told me as a ritual of protest known as malicious compliance. Bowrath tilted his head at this. Malicious compliance? That makes no sense. But it does, my friend. You see, it is a way of finding the worst possible way of interpreting orders and giving the person you are angry with exactly what they ask for, while doing everything you can think of to make sure that it is not what they actually want. And given their creativity and intelligence is on a higher side of the galactic average, they can do a lot of damage while remaining perfectly within the law. What you are also experiencing is the rest of your crew seeing their newest member defy you when you have been somewhat less than flexible and unforgiving in your enforcement of what we can honestly say is less than critical ship rule, rather than granting an exception for a special occasion. This has hurt your relationship and resulted in a negative feeling from your crew in general, and since your human has managed to not only comply with your orders perfectly, but enraged you to the point that you are now, by doing so, he has rallied them to his side quite efficiently, since I can tell you honestly that while everyone on your crew respects you, after all, you have run a very safe and efficient ship. Not one of them as honestly likes you. I am not trying to be cruel here. You are my friend, and I feel that being honest and blunt about this will lead you to see the error of your ways and perhaps make some changes that will result in a much happier, if slightly less efficient ship. Fesh finally loosened up again, reaching a pair of pseudopods out and firmly packed Bowra on the upper grasping arms in an affectionate manner. Bowra shivered as he considered the scenario. He reached the delicate middle grasping hand out and held one of his extended appendages. As usual, my friend, you see things I cannot by looking at them from every side. Tell me truly, am I a bad captain? No, never. You have always been a strict but fair captain. Your ship is in perfect order, your crew safe and well looked after. But you are perhaps not a good captain because you never were able to connect with your crew on a more personal level. You lack flexibility and your adhesiveness to the rules is commendable, but you aren't in the military anymore, and this crew is all civilians. Civilian captains are different. Your crew, when they are long-term, are more like family for many, sometimes literally. I have entered a life bond with my engineer, you know. Your engineer? It's the human one. Indeed, and I love him dearly, and I'll tell you this, it is my relationship with him that has led me to insight into your situation. Take it from me, learn to go with the flow once in a while, and the next time your human asks for something, try and check if it's really important to them. Yes, I can think to do that, if I had known that this was such an important event. Well, no, I probably would not have approved it anyway, but from now on, yes, I will try to be less chitin-bound by my thinking. I retired almost 5 rotations ago. Perhaps it's time to let go in the more restrictive mythology of my military days. Truly, again, thank you. I needed to hear this, and it needed to come from a friend. Of course, Bowra. I will always have an honest view of you when needed, and a bit of advice before you go. Yes? Call up another human crew member, my cargo master, and ask him for a list of supplies to implement Taco Tuesday on your ship before leaving on the next assignment. That will probably go a long way towards making your human feel better. Before you know it, you might be able to order secondary optical sensors to be scrubbed clean, and not find them opaque with abrasive pad either. Another shudder, this one slightly less tinged with an anxiety, passed through Bowra's carapace. I'll take you up on your advice immediately. Inebriants are on my tab for the next night fresh. You have probably saved my sanity. He stepped into the orbit and arranged for payment. Vesh called out the bearer after he reached the front door. Best of luck, friend. You'll need it. And with a smug oozing, ordered another drink, mumbling to himself, I do hope he can loosen up before he breaks. Humans are like a hammer on the psyche if you handle them wrong, but worth the weight in palladium if you handle them right. End of story. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing. If you wish to support the author, there is a link to the original story, so pop over there and give him your support. If you wish to support this channel, however, there are a few ways to do so. The best and easiest would be to share this video with other people, as well as liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. All of these things tell the algorithm that this channel is at least vaguely interesting, and that may share it with other people. If you wish to support the channel in some other manner, watching my other videos would also help tremendously. Or, if you really like, there is a link down below to leave a tip or to join the Patreon. Any and all support is very much appreciated. And I hope that you all have a good one until the next time, and I'll see you then. Cheers.